Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Wave 9. This is the In Space Black Ranger Carlos, and I am very excited for this, as In Space is actually my favorite season. We only so far have the Red Ranger Andros and the Yellow Ranger Ashley. So it's nice that we are continuing the team, and we now have a third member of the Power Rangers In Space team, so I am very excited for him. It's basically going to be the same exact figure as this, but in black, but that is okay, because that's how it's kind of supposed to be. So we will be doing a comparison between the two, see if Hasbro continues on with their inconsistencies with same team members, or hopefully they are consistent. We shall see, but I'm very excited. Artwork of the Black Ranger there as it wraps around to the side. Here on the side we get that same look. Here on the back we have the 3D render of Carlos there, looking pretty cool. And that's it. So let's get this thing opened up. Okay, and here is the In Space Black Ranger figure out of the package, Carlos. So there, I noticed one inconsistency when it comes to his blaster, and then another thing in the helmet, which I'm like, God damn it, Hasbro, why would you do this? But something that I never noticed before with the In Space Black Ranger is on top of his helmet, that ring there, he actually gets a white outline on his. Red Ranger does not, as you could see here. It is just black circle there, as well as In Space Yellow. There's no white ring around there. But the In Space Black Ranger, his on the helmet actually had that white ring. Now, it was a pretty thin line, and you know, on the figure itself, I think it's a little too thick. But that was actually something on the actual helmet in the show. So I'm thinking, well, why did Hasbro do that? Well, there was an actual reason. Thank God. So no inconsistencies here, except in the blaster, which I will talk about now, because I actually talked about it between the red and the yellow, so it's actually going to be the same in this case between the red and the black, but yellow and black should match, black and yellow. So let's zoom in and take a closer look at some of those things, and we'll look at the accessories. Okay, so looking at the accessories that comes with the In Space Black Ranger, we get this interesting effect piece here, and it's kind of like this flame ribbon done in this pink translucent plastic. It kind of threw me off a little bit, because, you know, how would you really use it? But it's got these two open spots, so you can kind of hook the lunar lance around in it, and I don't know if it's really kind of meant to kind of be that way, but that's how I did it. So you see those two open spots there. So it just kind of goes like this. So it doesn't, there's no other way to secure it. So if you're going to have like the lunar lance swinging down, you know, there's just no other way to do it. So that's why I kind of had it go on those ends. But the lunar lance itself looks pretty good, as you can see here in its entirety. It's just all black with some silver paint, and they actually use silver paint instead of a cheap, dull gray plastic, which I can appreciate. So silver down there. Silver here, and then the lunar moon portion of it on the end is there. So that is pretty cool. Nothing special about it. We get the unmasked Carlos head, and I think this looks really, really good. It's a little shiny, but it looks really good. I think that really looks like the actor. It kind of looks like an older version of the actor. He's actually pretty young in the show, but it does look like him, so kudos to Hasbro, because Andros did not look like Andros, and Astronema does not look like Astronema, and Ashley kind of looks like Ashley, but this is definitely the best out of all of those ones that they've come out with for In Space. Here, interchangeable hands. We get a fist for his left hand, and we get this open gesturing hand here for his right. Out of the package, he has the two open holding hands, as you can see there. And then now let's talk about the blaster. So the blaster, as you can see, gets silver paint there and here, a little bit of gold there, a little bit of red there. So that is pretty cool. So looking at In Space Yellow, her blaster, she has the same thing. So the same paint scheme, as you can see there. They are the same. This is yellow, this is black. So it's consistent. That is great. The problem is the Red Ranger that came in the Astronema 2-pack, his blaster is not the same. So here is black, here is red. Similar, but not the same. Notice the silver paint. This one gets gray paint, and then right here at the top, it's just all gray, but they painted this one blue. Or they did not paint that part silver, I guess. So it looks like molded blue plastic with silver paint. This is the molded gray plastic with blue paint. So it's just kind of funky why they kind of went in that direction. So sorry about the blur there. But now let's take a closer look at Carlos. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the In-Space Black Ranger. There's not going to be a whole lot to talk about because there is minimal paint on the In-Space suit. The design is very minimal, but I really like it. So we get the colorful squares here. That all looks nice and clean. We get the yellow there for the collar. I will say that they could have used another layer of yellow paint, as you can kind of see the black bleeding through there, but otherwise it looks pretty good. You know, Ashley got gold, and I think they only did that because it's on top of yellow. Red did get yellow, so that looks all pretty good. No real issues there. The helmet looks pretty good, as you can see the white outline of that circle portion that I was mentioning before. It's a very thick white line. Well, it's not super thick, but it's a thicker white line on the figure than on than what was actually in the show. And then you can see it's the same helmet like as Red. It's just, you know, the painted design of it is a little bit different on the shape of the visor. But that's all painted. That's not like sculpted lines or anything like that. So that's how they can do that. They can use the same exact helmet. So these two are essentially the same exact figures. That's why Hasbro, you know, Power Rangers is very easy for Hasbro to do. And then we get those nice surprises like the Tango Warrior, which is all unique because this thing is, you know, all reuse and everything. One thing to note though, it does look like the helmet sits a little bit lower on the neck than on Red. Not much, but ever so slightly. You can see the difference, and we'll see how Carlos's head rests on there. But looking at the rest, all white gloves, all black boots, all white boots. The belt, as you can see there, we get the gold paint there. That is the same with Red. It looks a little bit duller, but it's basically the same. So no real issues in terms of the paint. Nothing really going on in the back, so pretty cool. But let's pop this helmet off. That was actually very easy to take off. And let's pop this Carlos head on there and see how he looks. And bam, look at that. That actually looks really good. I like where it sits on the neck. It doesn't sit too low or anything like that, and I was really worried about that, seeing the helmet where it was, but yeah. Oh, that looks really good. I just wish his face just wasn't so shiny. But I like it. Looks really good. You guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of the Carlos portrait. I think it looks great. Okay, there should be no surprises here in terms of articulation with the Power Rangers. They can all do essentially the same thing. The helmet, again, in my opinion, sits a little too low, so he can't really look down a whole lot. He can look up so much, but then it just pops the helmet off there. That's, you know, when a sign when it's just too low, when you can't really get him to look up all that much. Full rotation, not a whole lot of pivot going on in there. You can get the arms to go up that high, which is really good. Full rotation, of course. You have an upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow like so. Wrists swivel on the hinge. There is the butterfly joint in there, so you can get the arm to go back that much, and you can get it to come forward a little bit. We have the diaphragm joint, so he can pivot to his left that much. He can pivot to his right that much. He can go back a little bit. He can come forward a little bit. But then we have the nice ab crunch, so you can get him to bend down that far. You can get him to go back that much. No waist swivel, so you have the diaphragm where you would use your swivel. Legs go out that far apart. He can't kick forward that much. You have an upper thigh cut, double jointed knee like so. We get a boot swivel. Foot hinges down all the way. Hinge up slightly, ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So no surprises there, nothing disappointing other than the helmet being a little low and lacking looking up and looking down, but pretty standard. Okay, so here we have our Power Rangers in Space team that has been released so far. Red Ranger, Black Ranger, Yellow Ranger, which I've mentioned over and over and over again in this video, I know. But here we have the only other figure from Lost Space, in Space, not Lost Space. Actually, well, that's not true. We have all the Psycho Rangers as well. So I'll get the Psycho Ranger and do his comparison with the Black Psycho Ranger. But there is Astronema with Carlos side by side. So let's get out the Psycho Black Ranger. Okay, so here is the In-Space Black Ranger next to the In-Space Psycho Black Ranger. This is actually the first time that I've taken out the In-Space, the Psycho Ranger. I think the only one that I've actually removed was Yellow out of that set, because I never did get around to reviewing it. So it's actually the first time that I've taken this guy out, and he's pretty cool. So the funny thing is, when it comes to the Black Rangers, because all the colors are so dark, that's why they do get some kind of variation in some things. So that's why we get the white ring around that portion of the helmet, and then he gets a gold collar versus the other ones that did not get a gold collar. So they got to add a little bit of color to their suit, since they're just all black and dark colors. Looking at the two, their two weapons, they're both their lances. This thing looks so much more badass than that. So it's kind of interesting that that's kind of the way they would go with that in the show. But of course, the villain's got to have a special look to him and got to have those badass weapons. So there it is. Okay, so my final thoughts on the figure. I'm very happy with it. I can't wait to complete this team. It is such a great season if you haven't already seen it, and I know it's one of the much older seasons, and there were a few episodes that were kind of like, oh my god, they really did like the Ninja Turtle episode. So things like that. But it was a really good season, and it's the season that saved Power Rangers, the franchise. It was supposed to be the final season, but it did so well, the show continued on. So it's a real big testament to what they were able to create in that season with that story. So if you haven't seen it, I really highly recommend. I don't even know where you could watch it now, since I think a lot of it has been pulled and taken down from Netflix. Eventually they'll get added onto Hasbro, has the Power Ranger YouTube channel or Hasbro YouTube channel or whatever it is, hopefully soon, and hopefully we get to complete the team. I know there's rumors out there of either Dark Honda or Ecliptor coming out. That would be amazing if we can continue to get more and more, but I really can't wait to get TJ, the blue in-space ranger, to get the pink ranger, and I can't remember her name. What was her name? I can't remember it. And then we can get Silver, which was... I can't remember his name. Now, I know it sounds like I'm talking about how I really liked it, and I can't remember the names. I'm pretty bad at remembering the names, especially the Power Rangers, because there's so many people in the show, so many Rangers, and everything. But again, I do highly recommend it. Solid figure release here. I think this wave is actually one of the best waves that Hasbro has done. That Carlos portrait looks really good for such an older season, because I was let down with Andros and Astronema, so I'm glad that the Carlos head sculpt came out looking really good. But you guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of this figure. You picking it up? Are you passing? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.